Dear viewers across the world, most welcome to my channel NAGA World Conflict Zone. Context: Middle East problem. Biden's cautious approach will not solve Middle East's problem. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is this week visiting the Middle East, meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. Among others, the visit is focused on maintaining the ceasefire, getting the assistance to the people who need it. According to a State Department official, this is quite a modest target for an administration whose main tagline in foreign affairs is "America is back." This ambitious narrative does not coincide with the behavior of President Joe Biden, especially when it comes to a Middle East. In this region, the US seems to be laying low, waiting for the turbulence to end. Like the proverbial ostrich, the Biden administration is burying its head in the sand, waiting for the danger to go away. This trend can be seen in the White House interim National Security Strategic Guidance report, in which the Middle East was barely mentioned. Readers of this document, which was released in March, get the impression that the entire region has been reduced to the Iran nuclear file. The hand-off approach started with Barack Obama, was pursued by Donald Trump, and now, unfortunately, is being followed by Biden. This trend goes beyond the personal preference of each of these presidents. It reflects a general fatigue with the region's problem and a rise in interest surrounding China and South China Sea. It also reflects a false perception that if the nuclear issue is solved, it will be easy to find solution to the Middle East others' problem. However, this ostrich approach is likely to increase turbulence as the countries that feel threatened by Iran will take it upon themselves to craft and implement policies that counter Tehran's aggressions. The recent Israeli attack on Gaza demonstrates that ostrich approach does not work properly. Even if the US to shield itself from the region's problem, the problem will come back and haunt it. Biden did not make the Israel-Palestine issue a priority, thinking that it is too complicated to be solved. However, now that events are imposing themselves on the administrations, it has been forced to take a position. The Biden administration sees itself being sucked into a conflict it sought to avoid. Handling the Israeli-Palestine conflict is quite problematic, as the administration is divided on this issue. The progressive wing of the Democratic Party wants to see the end of occupations and two-state solution. The traditional wings, of which Biden is a member, unconditionally support Israel. The Biden administration is also facing many social and economic problems domestically. The issue of racism is taking its toll on the cohesion of American society, while the economic problems that came with the coronavirus pandemic are also consuming the administration. Hence, there is little attention left for foreign affairs, and the Middle East is not at the top of the list. Even at last week's meeting between Blinken and Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov, the two agreed to cooperate on several issues, but the Middle East was not one of them, except for the Iranian nuclear program. Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, Iraq, Yemen, and Libya are all severe problems. However, they don't seem severe enough to grab the attention of the Biden and his team. The attitudes toward the recent conflict in Gaza summarized the administration's attitudes toward the regions in general, doing the bare minimum that must be done just to maintain a role. Here we see that US ambitions on foreign policy are kept with the aim being the keep problem under control rather than solving them. Even though Blinken mentioned that Biden administration is committed to a two-state solutions, we do not see any assertive attitude from the US to push for an agreement. The attitude towards the recent conflict in Gaza summarizes the administration's attitude toward the region in general, doing the bare minimum that must be done just to maintain a role. Here we see that US ambitions for foreign policy are kept with the aim being to keep problems under control rather than solving them. Even though Blinken mentioned that Biden administration is committed to a two-state solution, we do not see any assertive attitude from the US to push that both sides can engage in a meaningful and positive way toward to solution. What is practice does not mean is there an American plan to force Netanyahu, who has been avoiding even mentioning the notion of a Palestine state, to agree to a two-state solution. When it comes to the Middle East, the Biden administration does not seem to seeking any solution. Instead, it is trying to avoid making any decisions whose repercussions are unknown and whose results are not guaranteed. However, politics involve risks, and any decision entails a certain amount of uncertainty. While Trump was faulted for being brash, Biden is way too cautious. To the point of attention, strongly enough, the Biden administration is facing some of the same criticism that its predecessor faced. Some positions are still not filled and it is not functioning well. But Biden is no amateur politician, unlike Trump, who jumped from reality television to the White House. Biden is a real pro. He is a seasoned politician, while the previous administrations suffered from the whim and impulsive characters of the president. This administration suffers from a lack of actions and indecisiveness. The ostrich approach, whereby the US takes no decision and just tries to wait problem out and reflects badly on its partner, who will end up losing trust in Washington. One dangerous repercussion of this lack of trust is that they will take the threat surrounding them into their own hand. As Blinken was heading to the Israel, Netanyahu warned that his country might take independent action against Iran. The last things the region needs a confrontation between Israel and Iran. The ostrich should remove its head from the sand and realize the problem will not simply go away by ignoring them. On the contrary, they will come back and bite it. Dr. Dania Kalailat Khatib is a specialist in US Arab relations with a focus on lobbying. Credited.